Boonville, Indiana, a quiet town where the loudest sound on a summer afternoon is usually the buzz of cicadas. But in May 2019, a silence fell that has never lifted. Donna Hatfield, 72 years old, gentle, kind, and struggling with dementia, walked out of her home and vanished. No argument, no noise, no trace. Her medication was still on the counter. Her purse was still there. Even her car hadn't moved. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. And yet, no one has been able to answer the question that haunts this town 6 years later. How does a grandmother simply disappear from her own home in broad daylight? Authorities say she may have wandered off. Others say she couldn't have gone far on foot. The FBI has listed her as missing, calling it one of the most troubling unresolved disappearances in southern Indiana. And in 2025, 6 years later, law enforcement once again pleaded for information, desperate for even the smallest lead. This is not just another unsolved case. It's a window into what happens when time, illness, and circumstance collide. And as new information emerges, it forces us to ask, was it a tragic accident or something no one wants to believe? Somewhere between that front porch and the woods beyond, Donna Hatfield disappeared. What happened after she stepped outside remains one of Indiana's deepest mysteries. Stay with us, because the trail of this grandmother's disappearance will lead to discoveries no one expected. Before we continue, take a moment to subscribe to Crimes and Clues. Hit the bell so you never miss a new investigation, and drop a comment below with your first thoughts. Do you believe Donna Hatfield simply wandered off, or could there be more to this story? Your voice keeps these unsolved cases alive. Disclaimer: all details in this documentary are sourced from verified public records, law enforcement reports, and official FBI listings. No speculation or unverified claims are included. Before she became a headline, Donna Hatfield was simply mom, grandma, and a quiet presence in her Boonville, Indiana community. Born in the late 1940s, Donna was known for her love of gardening, her Sunday casseroles, and the way she called everyone hun even if she just met them. Friends describe her as kind-hearted, dependable, and gentle, the type of neighbor who left vegetables on your porch or checked on you after surgery. But as the years went by, Donna began to show the early signs of dementia. Simple things like turning off the stove or remembering which day was church started to slip away. Her son became her primary caretaker. They lived together in a modest home on North 3rd Street in Boonville. It wasn't an unusual arrangement, just a family trying to take care of each other. According to family and neighbors, Donna had her routines. Morning tea on the porch, short walks around the yard, and greeting the mail carrier by name. Nothing about her life seemed dangerous or unpredictable. But dementia has a way of blurring the familiar. People with memory loss can suddenly think they need to go home, even when they already are. On the evening she was last seen, her medication was untouched, her shoes were by the door, and the porch light was still on. In the official FBI case file, it states clearly Hatfield requires medical attention and may become disoriented without medication. Years after her disappearance, Donna's family still speaks publicly, not out of anger, but out of love. In 2025, they stood before cameras once again, asking anyone with information to come forward. "We just want answers," one relative said. "We don't want to die not knowing what happened to Mom." Behind every missing person file is a human being, someone who laughed, cooked, loved, and dreamed. Donna Hatfield wasn't just a statistic in a national database. She was a mother, a grandmother, and a friend who deserved to be found. Next, we retrace her final known moments, the timeline that baffled investigators and haunted the community for years. Because in cases like this, every minute counts, and somewhere within those missing hours may lie the truth. Before we move on, take a moment to subscribe to Crimes and Clues and drop a comment below. What do you think could cause an elderly woman to vanish so completely from her own home? Your insight and voice matter, because together we keep these stories alive. It was Saturday, May 25th, 2019, a calm spring afternoon in Boonville, Indiana, the kind of day when the sidewalks stay empty and the air feels heavy with heat. For most of the town, it was ordinary. For one family, it became the day everything changed. Donna Hatfield, age 72, was at home that morning. Her health records show that she was due for a check-in with her physician later that week. She lived with her adult son, who told police she was resting when he left the house briefly that afternoon. When he returned, Donna was gone. According to the official FBI file, Donna was last seen around 1 p.m. that day at her home on North 3rd Street. Her purse, keys, car, and medication were all left behind, suggesting she hadn't planned to leave. Boonville police were notified that evening after her son searched the neighborhood without success. The initial assumption, Donna may have wandered off, disoriented from her dementia, but something about the scene troubled investigators. There were no footprints leading away from the home. No eyewitnesses saw her walking in the area. And with temperatures rising and night approaching, the clock was ticking fast. Within hours, a multi-agency search began. Local, police, firefighters, and volunteers combing the area around her property. They checked nearby wooded lots, drainage ditches, and even abandoned barns. According to Boonville police, the search area extended to several miles around the home. But after 2 full days, there was still no trace of Donna. Investigators soon realized they weren't dealing with a simple case of confusion. They were facing something much more complex. The front door was found slightly open, but there were no signs of struggle. Donna's shoes were still by the mat. Her phone remained plugged in beside her bed. If she left on foot, it would have been barefoot. Unusual for anyone, especially a woman her age. The terrain behind her home was uneven, and with her dementia, it's unlikely she could have navigated far alone. So how did she vanish without a vehicle, without witnesses, and without leaving a single clue behind? When local efforts stalled, the FBI joined the case, listing Donna Hatfield on their official kidnapped/missing persons database. Her case was categorized as missing and endangered due to her age and medical condition. The listing described her as 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing 145 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes, and noted that she required daily medication. Despite renewed efforts, no leads surfaced. As the days turned into months, hope began to fade, and whispers began to spread through Boonville. A missing woman, no signs of struggle, no explanation. What could have happened between 1 p.m. and sunset on that quiet Indiana afternoon? In the next minutes, we examine how investigators try to piece together the impossible and the evidence that may finally point toward what happened to Donna Hatfield. But before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Crimes and Clues, turn on the bell for alerts, and drop a comment below. What's your theory so far? Could this have been a simple case of disorientation, or something far more unsettling? When Donna Hatfield's disappearance crossed the 48-hour mark, the search became an investigation. Boonville Police Department brought in additional personnel from Warwick County Sheriff's Office and Indiana State Police. Their first task, reconstruct the last 12 hours of Donna's life. Officers canvassed the area along North 3rd Street, interviewing neighbors, mail carriers, and store owners. No one had seen Donna that afternoon. The last confirmed sighting remained inside her home. Without cameras or doorbell footage and with no immediate witnesses, investigators faced what they later described as a silent timeline. House secured. No signs of forced entry. No indication of struggle. What remained were small clues. A door left ajar, a porch light still burning, and a community left uneasy. Police collected items for analysis. Fibers, footprints, soil samples, but none pointed to a specific lead. Cadaver dogs were brought in days later, but heavy rainfall and time had already erased scents. Drone surveillance and thermal imaging produced no matches. The report filed with Indiana State Police Missing Persons Unit lists no definitive physical evidence. By June 2019, the case went public. Local stations ran Donna's photo, her calm smile beneath short brown hair, and described her as a 72-year-old woman with dementia, last seen at home. Volunteers printed flyers, distributed them at gas stations and grocery stores, and shared them online. But public awareness didn't generate the breakthrough investigators hoped for. Hundreds of calls came in possible sightings, distant rumors, and mistaken identities, but none were confirmed. In late 2019, the Federal Bureau of Investigation officially listed Donna Hatfield in its kidnapped/missing persons database, classify her as endangered missing with dementia. This status allowed nationwide coordination, alerts across medical facilities, transit systems, and elderly care networks. Yet 6 years later, her profile remains active, marked unresolved. In May 2025, law enforcement renewed their appeal. Officials from Boonville PD and the FBI stood before cameras once again, urging anyone with information come forward. Detectives face a triple challenge: time, terrain, and uncertainty. Time. The delay in reporting gave nature days to erase potential evidence. Terrain. Fields, creeks, and dense woodland around Boonville make systematic searching difficult. Uncertainty. With dementia, behavioral patterns are unpredictable. People may hide, walk in circles, or seek familiar places that no longer exist. These factors, compounded by the absence of digital footprints, no phone data, no credit cards, left investigators relying solely on human memory. The community responded with compassion. Volunteers held vigils, local churches organized prayer walks, and neighbors kept Donna's porch light on for months. Her disappearance became not just a police case, but a reminder of how fragile safety can be even in small towns. The official search brought hundreds of hours, hundreds of volunteers, and yet no answers. So, how does a case like this stay unsolved for so long? Next, we will explore why the systemic gaps, the aging cases that slip through the cracks, and emotional toll on families who still wait. Before we continue, take a moment to subscribe to Crimes and Clues and turn on notifications. Drop a comment below. What do you believe is the biggest challenge in solving cases like this? Time, evidence, or attention when the public hears about a disappearance? The first question is always how. But investigators often ask a harder one: why the trail went cold. The story of Donna Hatfield reveals a truth that law enforcement knows too well. Not every missing person case gets the same visibility, resources, or time. In missing person investigations, the first 48 hours are everything. In Donna's case, the window closed quickly. Rain, temperature changes, and human activity erase possible footprints or scent trails. According to FBI training manuals, 85% of all trace evidence disappears after the first 72 hours in open terrain. And with dementia cases, wandering patterns make recovery zones unpredictable. By the time national resources joined in, nature had already wiped its slate clean. Boonville, like many Midwest towns, is bordered by farmland, wooded tracks, and dozens of unmarked trails. Search and rescue teams describe it as a patchwork of blind spots. Even with modern drones and GPS, coverage remains partial. And when hours become days, geography becomes an accomplice to mystery. Roughly 6 in 10 people with dementia will wander at least once. Some are found within hours. Others, tragically, are not. Experts say confusion, disorientation, and a false sense of purpose, like going home, can drive seniors into danger. In Donna Hatfield's case, investigators believe her medical condition drastically reduced her ability to seek help or respond to searchers calling her name. As days pass, headlines fade. When new stories emerge, old ones slip from the public's feed. For families, that silence is agony. The National Missing and Unidentified Persons System reports over 600,000 missing cases annually in the U.S. Only a fraction receives sustained media coverage. Donna's story briefly resurfaced in 2025 when police held a renewed press conference, but before that, years passed in near silence. For local departments, long-term searches strain manpower and funding. When no new evidence appears, cases shift from active to limited status. That doesn't mean they're forgotten. It means investigators must juggle new emergencies while old mysteries linger. The 2025 press conference confirmed that Donna Hatfield's case remains open but resource-constrained. For Donna's loved ones, the hardest part isn't just not knowing. It's the emptiness between hope and closure. One relative told local media, "Every Mother's Day hurts. We just need to bring her home." Donna Hatfield's case isn't just a mystery. It's a mirror held up to a national issue. The elderly, the vulnerable, and forgotten deserve more than headlines. They deserve answers. Now, let's explore what's being done today. New technology, community efforts, and the legacy Donna's story leaves behind. Before we do so, take a second to subscribe to Crimes and Clues. turn on notifications, and comment below. What do you think needs to change to keep cases like this from going cold? Time doesn't erase certain names. In Boonville, Indiana, the name Donna Hatfield still echoes like a question that never got an answer. 6 years later, she is still listed on the FBI's national database. Her photo, smiling, kind, gentle, still pinned on digital walls across the internet. And somewhere out there, her family still keeps her light on. Donna's disappearance sparked a local movement, a call to action for elderly care awareness, and faster response protocols for those living with dementia. Community groups now partner with Boonville Police to distribute silver alert cards, GPS bracelets, and memory care education. Her case also encouraged state lawmakers to allocate funds toward improving missing senior response units. The lesson Donna leaves behind is simple: awareness saves lives. In 2025, investigators confirmed that the case remains active and reviewed periodically through the FBI Cold Case Unit. New tools, from drone mapping to AI-assisted terrain reconstruction, have given detectives hope of locating remains or evidence missed in 2019. According to official reports, fresh searches have been conducted along old logging paths and creeks previously inaccessible. For the Hatfield family, this renewed attention is bittersweet proof that someone still cares. Some voices refuses to forget Donna. Neighbor says, "You can't live here and not know the name Donna Hatfield." Volunteer searcher said, "Every time I walk those trails, I still look down just in case." A retired officer said, "We don't close cases like this. We just keep them waiting for the right answer." In a world that moves on too fast, these voices are a reminder that empathy is the most powerful form of justice. For the families of the missing, hope is both a burden and a blessing. Donna Hatfield's story is not just about loss. It's about the community that refused to forget her. And maybe somewhere in that persistence, there's a different kind of closure, the kind that comes from knowing the world kept looking. If you believe that no one, especially the elderly, should ever just disappear without answers, hit subscribe to Crimes and Clues and turn on the so you never miss a case that matters. Share this video to spread Donna Hatfield's story. Drop a comment below and tell us, what lesson does her story teach you about community, care, and time? Because when we remember the missing, we become part of the search for truth.